Sorry, what did you say? What did you say? Do you want me to slice you open like I did your friend? Shut the fuck up! Okay? I'm the one with the fucking dick. Look at me. Look me in your fucking eye. Hey! You fuck! Look me in the eye. You're my bitch. I rule this fucking kingdom.
Far Cry 3 sold over 10 million copies and was lauded as one of the best games of the generation, setting a new benchmark for open-world shooters. The series continued to thrive with Far Cry 4 in 2014 and Far Cry 5 in 2018, each expanding on the franchise's formula with new mechanics and narratives. By 2018, Far Cry 5 became the fastest-selling title in Ubisoft's history, moving over 5 million copies within the first week, solidifying the franchise's place in history. In parallel with the success that they had going on with the Far Cry series, Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six Siege initially launched to a modest reception, but through consistent updates and community engagement, it has now grown into one of the most popular and enduring multiplayer shooters, even still today. By 2018, Rainbow Six Siege had amassed over 30 million players. Tom Clancy's The Division in 2016 was another major hit, offering a compelling blend of third-person shooting and RPG mechanics set in a post-apocalyptic New York. It was Ubisoft's fastest-selling new IP at launch, earning $330 million in sales within the first week. It showcased Ubisoft's ability to successfully launch a new IP while still being able to maintain their existing franchises. If we take a snapshot of the successes from 2000 to 2018, we see a Ubisoft that was consistently delivering on high-quality experiences while innovating within existing franchises, creating new franchises, doing all kinds of things. But at the exact same time, we also see a foreboding trend. The minute that they see a game become successful, they hammer that nail again and again and again. Sometimes within such quick succession that we're seeing sequels with games within year to year to year to year, back to back to back to back, and then they stop. And that's going to take a toll, not only on the developers, but also on the audiences. But by 2018, Ubisoft was worth $24 a share. It was the highest price. It's still the highest price that they've ever been worth. And in that, that's the perfect reflection, whether you care about share prices or not, it's the perfect reflection of what the company was worth at the time. 10 times the value that they were before they released Assassin's Creed. They were swimming in cash. They were so successful. They were massive. But when you reach those peaks, there tends to be a trend that follows. And they've been following that trend straight into the ground. As Ubisoft entered into 2018, the cracks in its previously successful formula began to show. While the company had relied on its major franchises to drive growth and maintain its position within the industry, the strategy began to falter. The initial decline of this period can largely be attributed to Ubisoft's over-reliance on its established franchises, a pattern that we've seen with many major publishers. The once groundbreaking mechanics and narratives that defined Ubisoft's titles were beginning to feel repetitive, leading to players feeling bored and fatigued with Ubisoft's design. I'll be honest, by the third Assassin's Creed, I had already tapped out because I felt like I saw the writing on the wall. Every time I watched any of their reveals or trailers, I said, yeah, I've done all this before. This over-reliance on existing franchises resulted in a slew of releases that, while still commercially viable, lacked the innovative spark that once defined the company. Assassin's Creed Odyssey in 2018 was a prime example of this issue. Despite it being a commercial success and receiving positive reviews, it didn't quite reach the heights of previous entries in the series. While it expanded upon RPG elements that were introduced in Assassin's Creed Origins, players and critics alike felt that the formula was becoming stale, with the vast majority of the open world and numerous side activities feeling more like a checklist rather than an engaging experience. This propagated a shared perception between players and critics of more of the same. Ubisoft games were becoming predictable, drawn out, and boring. Far Cry New Dawn in 2019 suffered from the exact same issues. As a direct sequel to Far Cry 5, it attempted to build on the narrative and setting, but was seen as more of an expansion than a full-fledged new installment. The game was a commercial success to a degree, but it didn't match the sales or the impact of Far Cry 3 or Far Cry 4. The narrative was considered weaker, the post-apocalyptic setting, while a new direction for the series, didn't really resonate strongly with the player base. This underwhelming reception was indicative of a larger issue: the lack of fresh ideas and a growing formulaic approach to game design. Another notable release during this period was The Division 2 in 2019. Now, this game was well received. It had refined mechanics over the first game, the endgame content was really engaging, and it was twice the size, if not larger, than the first game. However, despite its reception, it didn't meet Ubisoft's high sales expectations. The live service model that they had injected into the game arbitrarily, while successful in Rainbow Six Siege, did not effectively translate into The Division 2. This is partly due to market saturation, as other players are more invested in other live service games, but from my perspective as a fan from Division 2, the live service model just didn't work here. It felt generic. In a game where you're finding loot, and that's the gameplay loop, the last thing that you want to do is buy things to wear. You want to stand out for your achievements in the game, not how much you spent on loot boxes. This pattern of diminishing returns, poorly implemented monetization, and loss of connection with the players is a common issue for companies that heavily rely on their existing franchises. While sequels and spin-offs can capitalize on established fan bases, they also run the risk of alienating players by offering experiences that feel all too familiar, or injecting things into those experiences that make them, well, just something the players don't want to engage with whatsoever. Ubisoft's reliance on its core franchises like Assassin's Creed, Far Cry, and the Tom Clancy games led to a perception that the company was simply reusing the same templates with minor tweaks and adding monetization. This lack of innovation and growing similarities between their titles resulted in players being less excited about their new games, and they began to see Ubisoft games as formulaic in design, with sprawling open worlds filled with repetitive tasks rather than unique and engaging experiences. And I think that's the most troubling thing when it comes to Ubisoft. It's their aversion to criticism. Get that away from me. And they're not alone in that, okay? There's plenty of other studios and journalists that are out there that feel the same way. Don't listen to the gamers, those angry gamers. They don't know anything. And look, I get it. While 9 times out of 10 players don't know how to voice their criticisms effectively, oftentimes they're just being mean when they say things, they're still telling you that something's wrong with your games and you need to fix it. But year after year, Ubisoft has completely failed to listen to any criticism, whether that's coming from professional critics or the players. People have been saying for years how formulaic their design is, how scary predictable their games are. I know that if I log into an open world Ubisoft game, it's just going to be a checklist simulator. Everybody still remembers when their developers took to Twitter to criticize Elden Ring of all games for its open world design, its quest design, and its UI. How the fuck do you do that? That's the best game that we've had. One of the best games that we've had in the last decade. Why wouldn't you look at a game like that, look at the success that it sees, and say, we need to internalize some of the things that this game did well, why players liked it, and then reflect that in our games going forward? That's how you make better products. You learn from your competition, learn from the games that do well, instead of looking at it, wanting to criticize it, and trying to make excuses why you think that your games are better. Don't play Assassin's Creed instead. Fuck that. Look, Ubisoft had a bit of a resurgence in 2018 to 2019, and it looked like they were getting back on the horse. It looked like they were listening to player feedback, they were implementing in their games, it was making better games as a result, they were making a lot of money, but that only lasted for so long.
What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Antoine here. I'm back with a video. We're back with a video on this channel. In today's video, we're here to talk about, obviously, random video talk. We're going to have a conversation between me and you guys. And today's video, of course, we're going to be talking about, Ubisoft. And, we're going to talk about the company Ubisoft. And let's just say they're not heading to let's just say a great, direction. If anything is terrible and it's going bad and it's not looking good because, let's just say, it's just not looking good, you know what I'm saying? Because they're just not looking great, if I'm being honest with you guys. Listen, I haven't touched a Ubisoft game since 2014 or 15, or during the time when Division came out. That was the last and only that was the last and final Ubisoft game that I've ever touched. So ever since then, I never touched any brand new Far Cry games or any other Crew game or any other game in general when it comes to Ubisoft, because I kind of slowly felt, not to say felt like not trusted when it comes to Ubisoft. I did not trust Ubisoft, enough to where I didn't want to put content on my channel, or better yet, even play the games, because I feel like Ubisoft games have gone downhill to the point where not many people aren't interested in the game, and it just didn't, doesn't, not many people don't even fuck with, you know what I'm saying? Not even me, myself included, you know what I'm saying? And it sucks that, I say this because Ubisoft at one point was one of the best gaming companies in the world. Now it's turned to probably one of the most shittiest companies in the world because of obviously the games is not as popping as much. Um, Obviously it's just not hitting the same. You know what I'm saying? When back compared to the previous Ubisoft games they made compared to what they made now. What they're making now is just a rehash, reduce, reuse, recycle, Earth Day type shit to where they reuse the game that they made years ago and keep on reusing it to get more money and sales when they reuse brand new games and use the same engine as the other games, they make the money and use it to the other games that they're bringing out as brand new, and try to make that as a sale. It seemed like the direction that they were going with the whole entire Ubisoft, like Ubisoft Studios, it seemed like the direction they're going with. It just does not make any sense to me, and why I stepped away from Ubisoft games, gaming in general, and Ubisoft. I'm saying a long time ago because like I can't support their product if they're going to be so ass and dog shit. Like I just can't. I just can't do it because, like, bro, I just don't want to support a studio that just have ass products and don't want to, go outside the box. You know what I'm saying? The YouTube, I showed you guys shots at YouTuber. He's explaining so much better of what's going on with Ubisoft Studios and all that type of stuff, from the stock market to the games to basically about Ubisoft as a studio. It's like they're going downhill. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what the fuck Ubisoft be doing. I know I even care, but the reason I'm making these videos to talk about it, have a conversation, because I'm wondering, if Ubisoft is like one of the only few, companies that doing the same thing. Because you gotta understand, we're in the gaming nowadays. To me, I believe, my personal opinion, we're kind of in the middle of like good and bad when it comes to gaming in 2024 right now. Me personally, I'm having fun with the games I'm playing, but that's not Ubisoft, of course. Um, Gosh, man, it just seems like Ubisoft was one of the best gaming companies in the world that was just shitty and just it just doesn't make any sense. You know what I'm saying? And I'm just thinking to myself, what happened to Ubisoft? Why is it going so wrong? Why Ubisoft used to be this good now to this bad? Like what happened? You know what I'm saying? So I started to wonder myself. I started watching this YouTuber shout out to him once again. I also started to get to my own thoughts and why Ubisoft gone wrong. And from my perspective of why Ubisoft has gone wrong, because they keep rehashing, reusing games that they made them so much money and not going outside the box. For example, Assassin's Creed. As you guys see right here, as I'm recording this, Assassin's Creed, the new game called Assassin's Creed Shadows, that got held back. That got delayed till Valentine's Day on my birthday month around February of 2025. Of all those people who've been waiting for Assassin's Creed Shadows to come out around November. Well, think again because it's supposed to be coming out already as I record this, but no. Instead, it's getting held back until February of of my birthday month around Valentine's Day, which is a very weird day to put out your game. But that's Ubisoft, right? It's just how it is. You know what I'm saying? And they keep on using rehash of Assassin's Creed this, Assassin's Creed that, Assassin's Creed this, Assassin's Creed Black and Red Flag, Mirage, Valhalla. They keep making too many goddamn Assassin's Creed games to the point where I don't know, man. It just kind of rehash, reuse, reduce shit. I mean, if you know about Assassin's Creed, it's basically you play as this assassin person, and you just sneak around doing objectives or fighting whatever, basically type shit, and then you go through the story mode type stuff. Which is nothing wrong with it. I love Assassin's Creed. I used to play Assassin's Creed 1, 2, and 3, but after the third one, I was done with Assassin's Creed. I was done with it simply because it's just the same old thing. Nothing really is new to when it comes to if you compare 1, 2, and 3. If you go play Assassin's Creed 1, 2, and 3, tell me what's the difference between that? Nothing. There's no difference. It's just the same old buttons and just a different UI shit to make it look different. But in reality, the buttons, the fighting, everything's still the same thing. So it's like, if it's still the same thing and nothing really elevating and changing, what's the point of me playing the exact same thing? Don't get me wrong, Assassin's Creed is good and all, but it's the same old thing. It's the same old sneaky shit. Like nothing really is great about Assassin's Creed games nowadays. And now also on top of this, the new Assassin's Creed Shadows is very controversial. So it's like because of the Black Samurai shit. So it's like now you add insult to the wound of Ubisoft of them making too many goddamn Assassin's Creed games. And also I'm hearing that, they're making more Assassin's Creed games after, Assassin's Creed, Shadows. So after that, they're gonna make a couple more Assassin's Creed games. So they're not done making Assassin's Creed games. Now, here's the thing here. If as long as they make the money, that's fine. But my whole point of this whole Assassin's Creed shit, if you're gonna make another Assassin's Creed game, go outside the comfort box. Make something that's brand new. Like make something that's never happened before. Make something that's very different compared to the other Assassin's Creed games. Because all the Assassin's Creed games that I'm seeing, they're all the same thing. There's really nothing changed about the Assassin's Creed games. It's really the same thing. And then if you want to go even further, let's go to Far Cry. Far Cry. Open world experience, really wonderful, really awesome, cool. You know what I'm saying? Open world, you go to this objective, do side quests, hunt animals, whatever you gotta do, shoot guns and all type of stuff. Open world type experience stuff. Same thing applies with Assassin's Creed, which is no problem. I love open world experience. However, when you start to use it consistently, keep on doing this over and over and over again, not making anything changeable to the open world experience, it's like, bro, it's just another Ubisoft game, open world bullshit, same old thing, nothing changing. I played Far Cry 1 to 3, and I stopped playing it because it's the same old shit. Open world experience, you fight this whatever thing, whatever, and that's it. You know what I'm saying? Like I love Primal, don't get me wrong, but then after that, I just kind of was done with the Far Cry shit. They're not changing things becoming this overall experience. It's just same old stuff. You do plants, whatever. Like this same old shit that they don't do. Kind of applies for Assassin's Creed. You know what I'm saying? You get where I'm coming from, right? Get the pattern, right? They keep on making the same old games with different UIs and genres, whatever, and not make things different. That's what kind of makes Far Cry and basically Assassin's Creed not so great as it was back then. You know what I'm saying? Back then Far Cry was good, back then Assassin's Creed was good, but now it's like they're not as good as what it used to be because they refuse to change anything. They keep on doing the same old gameplay, same old this story and that story, you know what I'm saying? I mean, well, the different stories, you know what I'm saying, but but the same old things, kind of like oh, you beat this bad guy up, but you gotta go through open world shit. Kind of Assassin's Creed type would do that. And also, Far Cry shit. They don't change none of that. Um, it just doesn't make any sense of what they're doing and what the direction they're doing with these games that used to be good. Now they're just let's just copy and paste it or with different stories and UI to make it look different and not make the gameplay different. You get what I'm feeling? Like if the gameplay was different, like if you can make a game look different all you want to. Like if you're a gamer or a person that try to make a creative game, you can make a game look so different compared to the other games. But if you keep on making the reuse, rehash, gameplays, then that's gonna be a problem. That's why many people did not like the last Far Cry game that came out, nor the last Assassin's Creed that came out. So it's like you're shooting yourself in the foot, and now you're doing the same old stuff with the gameplays and all that type of stuff. Now you're wondering why your stock is going down. Well, it kind of went down. It kind of went up a little bit as of recording this, but still, it's really low for a big old company that has been making incredible games over the years. You know what I'm saying? You would think that they would do something about it, but nope. They ain't do nothing about it. And then to add insult to injuries and all type of stuff, man. Even with Division 1 and then Division 2, I love those games. Even within, they're doing so great, you know what I'm saying, making things differently compared to Division 1, Division 2. But the problem here is the sales aren't even going up too as well. The sales were not even great, you know what I'm saying? That's why the stock is going down too as well, because the sales weren't great. Some games were delivering, but the sales to Ubisoft eyes were not delivering, so it fails. You know what I'm saying? So, um, yeah, man. I mean, Division One sell great, but it to Ubisoft eye didn't matter. Division Two sell fantastic. It was a really good game, but it didn't sell as great. You know what I'm saying, to Ubisoft eyes. So if they weren't making the money, making enough money to Ubisoft eyes, then it didn't matter to them. And then they eventually started to cut ties with them. There's a reason why we don't have Splinter Cells no more. Because Splinter Cells were not making Ubisoft enough money, so they decided to shut down Splinter Cells in the operation. And Splinter Cells is my favorite Ubisoft game of all time. And the fact that they shut that down with was it that Fisher dude? Yeah, and because it wasn't making enough money, it hurts. You know what I'm saying? You don't believe me? You remember that one game a long time ago It was called Rainbows. It was called Rainbow Six Vegas, I believe. Rainbow Six Vegas. I think it was called Rainbow Six Vegas, where these soldiers were going into Vegas to like stop, obviously these bad guys from the Vegas, type of stuff. It was a good and fantastic game. I loved it. It was so great. And then after they got done with two, the Rainbow Six of Vegas game, after they made number two, they stopped making it because it wasn't not making enough money. Um, those two games were so iconic, and they decided to shut those two down. Those two of my favorite games, with Splinter Cell and then Rainbow Six Vegas. Man, they decided to shut those down. It just kind of blew. It kind of just broke my heart to see that go, but it's understandable for a business move. But even if you decide to shut those games down, the games you're trying to make that they're making you big bucks are not meeting your criteria. You know what I'm saying? It's not meeting the people's expectations. And if it's not meeting the people's expectation, then you're really kind of cooked. You know what I'm saying? That's what Ubisoft been going through with their games. They keep on making reused like gameplay. They're making the same old game with different UI, and they're not doing anything differently. You know what I'm saying? Same thing applies for Far Cry, Assassin's Creed. Even the Avatar game they make, they make the Avatar game look like Far Cry, but in the Avatar universe. Makes no damn sense whatsoever. Lack of storytelling, lack of characters. They basically just say, hey, why not put Far Cry in the Avatar shit and just put them as their fucking soldiers and shit. Like it didn't make any sense. Like that Avatar game flopped it like a motherfucker. It was like completely ass. Like it was so dog shit. Like Ubisoft refused to innovate. Watchdog was good too as well. Watchdog 1, Watchdog 2 was great and all too as well, but it did not meet the expectation. It did not make them more money. That's why you don't see many. That's why you see Ubisoft making, Watchdog 2, Watchdog 3. I have a friend that actually played Watchdog. It seemed like pretty interesting game, but I'm not into the whole stealthy shit no more like I used to as a kid. I stopped doing that stealthy shit. Um, and yeah, man, I mean, there's so many things that's going on with Ubisoft right now that they have to get their shit together. Otherwise, they might as well just go let a other company buy them out at this point if they don't want to go ahead and fix the issues that they have fixed. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what they can do, what they cannot do. All I gotta say is this, man: go outside your comfort zone, look at these other games, and try to ask yourself, what can we do that we can do like outside our comfort zone to make your game better. Go do Elden Ring type shit. Elden Ring's an open game, open world game. It's probably the best game we had in 10 years, in my personal opinion. And like I said, I'm not even a Dark Soul fan, and that Elden Ring game is so good. One devs actually roasted the fucking Elden Rings and said that there's outworld, their open world experience is not that great, but yet you guys make an open world experience on Far Cry and fucking Assassin's Creed just to make it so good, but really it's not to innovate. So, you know what I'm saying? So I just don't get that. I just don't get it. It just don't make no sense at all. Um, I still don't understand why he bashed out a game that's been great for 10 plus years, the Elden Rings, when you could be making some game that's probably just like that. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? It's nothing wrong with stealing something out of, the comfortable zone of your competition. You know what I'm saying? I love when gaming becomes a competition. That's what make gaming so good and better. Um, Ubisoft refused to do any of that, which why it's a result of what they got right now. Why their stock going down, not their stock not going up, and most importantly, um, it's shooting itself in the foot. You know what I'm saying? And it's not looking good for Ubisoft. You know what I'm saying? And you would think it'd probably get worse from here, right? Well, it did because as I'm recording this, I'll link the article in the description. They're getting sued. Ubisoft is also getting sued too as well. Um, I could have made a separate video about it, but right now they're getting sued. You know what I'm saying? And let's just say they're getting sued because over the fact that this crew game, the crew one game, the servers got shut down because of a quote unquote online offline messed up whatever. According to the Polygon website, I'll link it in the description. It says Ubisoft, sued for shutting down the crew. The issue is once again about the difference between buying and licensing games. Two California gamers are suing Ubisoft in a purpose class action lawsuit over the developer and publishers, recent shutdown of racing games and the crew. Ubisoft releases The Crew in December of 2014 and shutting down its servers after a decade due to a server, and fractures and license constraints. After the service shut down, the game became totally unplayable due to a lack of single players in offline mode. When the service was announced on to December 14, 2023, Ubisoft did offer refunds to the people who recently purchased the crew, but given the age of the game, a lot of players were unable to participate in the offer. Imagine you buying a pinball machine and years later you enter your den to go play, only to discover that all the paddles are missing. The pinball and the bumpers are gone. The motor that proudly display your unsustainable high score is removed. Lawyers wrote in the lawsuit, which was filed in November 4th in 2024, in a California court and reviewed by the Polygon. Turns out the pinball's manufacturer decided to come into your home, guts the inside of your pinball machine, and remove your ability to play the game that you bought and thought you owned. It says the lawsuit alleged that this is exactly what happened when Ubisoft shut down its servers for The Crew in 2024, suddenly leaving consumers unable to access something they purchased and assumed that they owned it. The lawsuits says players were duped in two ways. First, by allegedly misleading players into thinking that they are buying the game when they're already mercilessly licensing it, even if a player bought a physical disc. Secondly, um, the Ubisoft falsely represent the crew's files were on its physical disc to access freely, and that the discs weren't simply a key for the game. Ubisoft has violated a California's consumer protection law. Ubisoft is violating a California consumers protection laws. The lawsuit alleged both plaintiffs purchased the game well into its lifespan in 2018 and 2020, respectively, on the physical disc. The lawsuit says neither would have purchased the game on the same terms, etc. Price, knowing that the game server could be taken down, rendering the cruise totally unplayable even in an offline mode. So basically, Ubisoft shut down the crew not only online but offline. So basically, offline is getting shut down and online getting shut down. And these two Californian people were pissed off over the fact that you're now shutting down a server that that they're dedicated to, whether it's online, offline. Now they can't play the game, and it's I guess they're suing them for that lawsuit. I'll link the whole thing in the description. Want to go ahead and talk about that or read about it. You know what I'm saying? Your own of your own pleasure. But basically, they're getting sued. Ubisoft getting sued, and now Assassin's Creed, Shadows getting pulled back on Valentine's Day, and it's already controversial. And then, of course, the fucking Star Wars Outlaw that I was interested in was so fucking bad. They got and bought the game, and I figured that Ubisoft was gonna make this game so fucking dog shit. Man, I don't know what Ubisoft's gonna do. All you gotta do is get they head out their asses and do something, man. Because right now, the more and more stuff that they're doing that's really bad, the less of people that are gonna have faith in Ubisoft, gaming in general. You know what I'm saying? I mean, there's no other games that I can say that, oh, that game is looking good for Ubisoft. I'm pretty sure we're gonna be so great right now. You know what I'm saying? Right now as I'm recording this. Right now, I don't see that many Ubisoft games that's doing great right now. Honestly, man, it was so bad. And then the Avatar fucking game trying to beat the freaking Far Cry series, what's even worse. So it's like, okay, great. I don't even know what they're gonna do at this point. But yeah, I mean that's pretty much it. I ain't got nothing to say, man. Thank y'all for watching. Leave a like, subscribe. Let me know in the comment section down below how you feel about the Ubisoft situation. Honestly, I don't know what they're gonna do for me. Honestly, I would just, you know, maybe look outside the box, find other ways to make your game so different than the games you made in the past, or bring back the games that you used to have that were so good. I don't know what they're gonna do at this point, but y'all let me know. And that's pretty much it. I ain't got nothing to say, man. And honestly, I wish for nothing but best for Ubisoft, I guess. Hopefully they can get themselves out of this, but if they don't, then sell your company and get the fuck out. I don't know. But anyways, besides that though, man, thank y'all for watching. As always, take care. I'm out. Peace.
Nice.